Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Let's continue right after Rui. Hope everyone had a good day so far. Yeah, the plan for today would be finishing off that big mess with the dependency cycles of the static libraries. I hope we can do it. We did some good progress yesterday. There's a small thing that I want to do at the start of the stream because I came up with a better name for graphics core. So let's get right into that. Stashio Cat, thank you for the follow. I saw you in the other stream. Thank you for jumping over and following. And hello, Psycode. Alright, so let's close that. I hope what I suggested on the Discord to GD Bobby works. Yeah, that was actually, maybe I do that right away. I should have done that off stream, but it's fine. Onyx. I need to, well, I could do it in the command line, but whatever. I need a new branch here. How do I even do that here? Maybe I do it offline, or can I do it? I've never done that on online. Oh, okay, here, def. Perfect. So the main thing, is that now a copy? Yeah, that is a copy. Perfect. So the difference is graphics core should be just the wrappers around Vulkan and DirectX 12 eventually, if I will ever add it and whatnot. So it's basically just a bare minimum to do rendering or like interaction with the graphics card. And then graphics is higher level things like render graph, shader graph, texture, asset, like not like the textures itself, but like the high level thing of a asset that's a texture, or like meshes. Like the vertex stuff is still in graphics core, but yeah, exactly. So I think I will call it similar to what other things use. So NVRHI. Which is the rendering hardware interface, and I think I will call it RHI basically, which would be a better name than graphics core in my opinion, because graphics core sounds a bit weird. So I think I will just name this RHI for rendering hardware interface. And then if I ever want to use NVRHI, I could just pull it in there, similar to how I have entity, which is basically just a wrapper around end. I think that's cleaner and less confusing for people, and probably less confusing for me. So that would be the idea. Is that the Unreal? Well, I mean, maybe. Do I want to have it uppercase then? Nah, that looks weird. I think we will do that. All good. I think RHI is the better name. Okay, so I have that. And then I can generate again the project. And that should now be way simpler than what we did yesterday, because we can just do a search and replace over the whole project for the include paths, and then we should be done with that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's what it seems to be kind of the standard way to call that thing nowadays. And as I said, NVRHI is the same thing, just from NVIDIA, right? It's a wrapper around all the backends. And that's basically what that library would be. So yeah, I guess it's nice in that sense that it will make sense for people. Oh yeah, I didn't do it everywhere, of course. It will make sense for people reading it, and I think they can then understand what it would be. Dependencies. So this one would be RHI here. And then where else do we have it? Is that the only place? I think it actually is the only. Graphics core. Where? Here. That is all includes. Oh, here. RHI. I think that's it. Wait. Okay, yeah, that's garbage. Let's hope I didn't create the graphics thing again. Okay, no. Perfect. Let's retry that. Sorry, I just missed that. Hello, Lolboy. Good, well, yeah, afternoon, I guess. Late afternoon. Yeah, I still need to find out how I can get rid of those, but that doesn't matter. Those are just warnings, so don't really care about that. Alright, and then the thing would be we replace each Onyx graphics core with Onyx RHI. Let's first try to find our 420. Perfect. Or whatever. And then let's replace R. And then let's do a build and see if it worked. But it should. Or maybe not. Oh no. That was a mistake. So let's try that again. Did I really do it there somewhere busted or what? Eh? How did I not replace those? Ah, wait, is that the thing? I think that's me being stupid. I think that file is not in the CMake file or something like that. Let's actually go there. Dependency sources. Graphic. Yeah, I think it's not there, right? That's weird. Graphic types. Is it graphics or graphic? It's graphics handles. I'm not sure why I was never in the CMake project to begin with, but whatever. And then yeah, this one doesn't regenerate for some reason. Which as well is something I need to find out why. because that should regenerate. But that's actually the bug that I was talking about in Discord with the code generator not regenerating some files, which is a bit weird. Yeah, that was because now we already split it into separate directories, so it's way faster to rename because I don't have the overlap. But of course, Visual Studio fucked it up. Well, I fucked it up, and then Visual Studio fucked up the second rename, which is fun. So, of course, Visual Studio trolled me a little bit in between. But I mean, I guess it's on me. Perfect. Let's actually commit all of that because I think we are working, right? Probably building and everything, yeah. So let's quickly get rid of those bunch of files because it's again a shit ton probably. Yeah. 300 files. Renamed graphics core to RHI. Alright. And then let's continue with what we actually wanted to do today. Probably the first thing would be trying to get back our render graph properly. Because before that it doesn't really make sense to fix the editor stuff. So the thing... I'm not quite sure how I would want to have the render graph yet. But basically, I mean, currently I have it here, which is of course garbage. That's not how it should be. I think for now... Oh, that's actually... let me think. Because technically each scene should be able to have its own render graph, because you could have scenes that only are 2D or UI, for example, like main menus. So they have a different render graph, or should be able to have a different render graph than the 3D game, 3D scene. So I'm pretty sure there should be some sort of like in scene. I think the render graph should be here. Maybe. So that would be render graph and then scene render graph. And then let's do a namespace. Onyx graphics plus render graph. Something along those lines. But I'm not sure if that is good enough already, if that will work. Because I don't think it will. Actually, it would work. But the question is, how do I do imgui then? Maybe I do imgui different. Yeah, probably imgui will be treated different. Let's do that for now. Scene render graph. Fine. And then we move scene serializer. We have exactly serialize scene generic settings here. Serializer. Right. Render graph. M. Well, sorry, how? Scene. Scene render graph. Get ID. That is an asset ID. I hope that works. I think I've added that already. And then these, well, we probably should do that only if we have. I mean, nah, we should always have a. We should always have one. We should always have one. And then deserializer asset ID render graph asset ID deserializer read and let's do no, let's actually, that's fine, I think. And then we do asset system. No? Oh, it's engine get and then set system. Hello, hello, what's up? Welcome, welcome. So that should be quite clean. I think what I want to do is probably if we don't have anything. Yeah, on a new scene I need to do something, but that's fine for now. That should work. Yeah, on the new scene we will do some stuff. Although we could actually make it backwards compatible. Maybe that's the nicer way. We could do read optioner, which is a little bit, yeah. And then this is engine colon slash render graphs default render graph. Because that way, if we don't find it, it's fine. I mean, I guess we could as well do that. If yeah, we just ignore the read back, right? Doesn't assert anyways, I think. The read optioner just doesn't return false. But as I'm not doing anything here, I think it's fine like that. That should work. That is basically safe. Alright. Might work. And then we need to do just some other things. Small additions here and there. Well, I say small. Actually a little bit bigger. One thing is we need to let me think. Yeah, that's a bit of a downside, but I think I will live with that because it's just imgui that's a little bit sus then, but I think it's fine. Imgui is only used for the editor. Anyway, so it was never intended for anything else. Because I don't think I will see a whole lot. Or scene editor, that's what I wanted to do. Because basically this would be m scene get render graph and then that. Well, I think it's like that. Oops. And I think that then should be fine. The other only remaining issue is we need to queue the render graph somehow, which I'm not quite sure yet how. I mean, a scene gets created. Maybe I get the graphics behind here. Although I think the render graph could actually do that itself. It has an init. I think that init, well, it's not. Where is that card? Oh, that's actually good. Okay. I think I can work with that. I think at the end here, maybe I register that render graph. Well, I don't register the render graph actually. But yeah, I would probably do something like a on begin frame or something like that, and then register my begin frame, something like that. That could work, and that would be run in the render thread eventually in the future, but that could work. We could try that for now, even though I'm not 100% sure if that's the right core. Is that not there? Really? Okay, never mind. Yeah, it would basically be or the system. No, I think it's fine. We could do that here. Let's do it here. Right when interface. Let me think. One second. No, I think a callback makes more sense. I think a callback makes more sense. So basically I do a using begin frame signal T is a signal of void, then probably a frame context, I would say. Probably const. Yeah, I think we always want it to be const. Then render frame and on end frame, well, end frame signal. Then you can basically register to whatever you want there. Why did I do that? Nobody knows. And then that would be a sync of the begin frame signal T. Something like that. On render frame, on end frame. I mean, again, that might not stay like that, but for now that's good enough. I might change that. But to be honest, I think there's not really a lot of things that will register to that, in theory. If I'm not mistaken, not a lot of things will register to that. Let's put it down here. God damn it, stop it, Visual Studio. Okay, why do you do that? And I do it manually. So that is end, that is render. Okay. And then what I would do is we do that setup here. Oh, okay, cool. Begin frame signal dispatch. Current frame context. And then we do the same here. Render frame signal dispatch. Get current frame context. Eh. Do I not have that? What? Thought I have that function. Oh, it's just get frame context. And then here as well. Before we end the frame, we call it. Yeah, kinda. Because then what I would do probably is in render graph. Oh, that's the question. Is that smart? I mean, maybe not actually. I mean, for now we will do it, but probably that's not the smartest thing to do, but... init, I will do graphics system on begin frame, connect. See, maybe that's... No, I think it makes... I think it's maybe fine. Actually, it's maybe not fine here. Hold on. While I have... it's my second account. Like, I created one just for, like, streaming, right? Which is the AK Elements. And then that one is just an alias for my private Discord account that I had in the past already. Because on some devices I'm not logged in with the official one, let's say, so yeah. Maybe I do the register different. I'm not sure. Scene editor. Can I do it here somehow? I mean, I have a graphic system, so maybe on scene loaded. And then let's do graphic system. Is the scene loaded? Should probably happen. I know that happens before my scene graph finished, my render graph loaded. For member variables. It's a very common thing in C++ to do that. It's that even if you don't have syntax highlighting, you would see that those are members basically of the class. But that's the only, well, this prefix, and I sometimes, well, actually that's the only prefix I use. M underscore. I don't know. I just, yeah. Yeah. It's a bit of a C++ thing. I'm not sure how I would want to. Yeah, kinda. But to be honest, I tried to get rid of the M underscore sometimes. Like I already tried it here in this project. And then I just ran into problems of like parameters of functions overlapping with the members, and then it was like just pain, because then I would need to do here an underscore or something like that, or name that different, whereas the M was less intrusive in my opinion. With the constructor it was definitely a problem from time to time. But yeah, that's maybe just me. Yeah, exactly, but I was like, at that point, well, that's why I do the M, but yeah, I don't really, I'm not like, I don't have a strong opinion on that either way. It's more habit by now. Yeah, I'm not sure how I like to do that. Because probably I need to do it slightly different. I will for now though, yeah, no, that sucks. Although that sucks anyways, right? Wait, hold on. In the graph. Hold on. Are we not? When I deserialize my render graph. Okay, that's anyways. That's anyways stupid. No, what does that do actually? I do not use that, I think. Okay. What does that do? Oh, okay. No, I've not used it. Didn't encounter it yet if I need it or not. But yeah. Actually, I just found an issue. Well, yeah, kind of an issue. Well, it's not a big deal, but why do I... Actually a bit stupid what I did there. I think I need to do it slightly different for the scene. And I think that actually makes more sense than... Well, let's do it private, maybe? Yeah, let's... void on render graph loaded. I have no idea, I'm not an NVIDIA answer, so I can't really look it up, I guess. I'm on AMD myself as well. The render graph. We don't have yeah, okay. Yeah, that will be slightly interesting, not gonna lie. Actually, maybe I do... Yeah, that sucks all a little bit, not gonna lie. Maybe we add a void in it here. Or actually... Probably I need a scene manager for that. Because currently I think the only place where I have a scene is in editor, right? If I'm not mistaken. Oh no, we have a set scene. Okay. Do we actually card it? Oh, we do. Okay. Okay, we can work with that. Let's see. If the scene is valid and it's not loading... okay. If our M scene get render graph is loaded, scene render graph. If our scene render graph is not... Or probably an event-based system would make more sense, but it doesn't really matter. Then we basically say graphics system on begin frame connect scene where render graph. Do we actually put it into the render graph? No, let's actually... Actually, let's put it in the render graph. Like that, if we are not initialized. Now we basically call that with a graphic system. Okay, I think that could work. Bear with me, that could actually make sense. is initialized. Const return m is initialized. Alright, then bool, and that is false by default. Then we go in here, set it to true at the end. Before we do that, we initialize our callbacks. Connect. Render graph on begin frame. This. On end frame. Okay, now we go here. Those gone. Come here. Let's call it on the render frame. It doesn't really matter. All right. Oh. And then on shutdown, m initialized is false, and we basically clear all of those again. I could as well do like one call, or I could do a interface for that. I don't know. Doesn't really matter for now. On render frame. And I think I need to go to render graph serializer and kill that weird init that I did here, because that is garbage. That shouldn't happen, because that actually meant that I think that was actually why it might have crashed the editor when I closed the render graph editor. Some water. All right, let's continue. In application fair, because I need to kill that now. So you gone again. Gone. But I need to change how I do imgui now. Slightly. Which will be interesting because I've not done that yet, but let's see if we can get it to work. It shouldn't take too much to get it to work, but let's see. Ref counted what? In scene sector stream or what? Why? What? Why? Do I need to include? Oh, do I need to include Onyx graphics render graph here, right? probably. Maybe not. Maybe not enough. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Where? Yeah, that's fair. Let's do a non-cons version as well. Even though I might change that a little. But yeah. Oh, actually, I think I need to already do that different, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's find out. It might actually be already a problem. What the hell? Do you not? Maybe you don't like that here, right? Maybe I need to include render graph here. Because of the dereference here. What is your problem? It's probably the include because we again have some weird stuff that doesn't generate correctly, most likely. Okay, no, it's actually it's used by another process. That's interesting. Okay, good. That might actually, yeah, that will not work, right? We will probably not have anything here. Yeah, that's what I expected. Because even GUI doesn't load. Which is the last next, or the remaining thing that I need to change. Which is GUI task. Needs to basically disappear. So that is basically gone from here. Let's go to imgui task, imgui system. And yeah, we basically need to do a couple of things. First things first here. I mean, that is pretty much not what we want to do. I do have the I don't have the graphic system here. Probably a mistake. Init font of like init render buffers. Let's do that. I need to change imgui back from like a render graph task to like just a debug renderer. So decouple it, which is fine. I think that was anyways long planned. It's not meant to run inside the render graph. Graphics system. Okay. I mean, again, it might change. But for now, we will do it like that. GUI task. Basically, we take that, move that here. Okay. Yeah. That as well fixes one of the issues that I had with ImGUI anyway, so that's a good thing. The downside is it's maybe a little bit weird that it's not in the render graph anymore, but again, I think it's better. Because it was never intended like that anyways. And this way nobody reuses it for weird purposes of, like, for example, in-game UI or something like that. I mean, in theory you could still do that, but I hope that de-incentivizes it. Alright, so we have that. And now we have a begin and end, so this is frame context here. Let's do here as well. I don't think I need a frame context here. Because what do we do in the GUI task? I think I only do... Well, begin frame doesn't do anything. Or this would be the begin frame, right? Well, actually, maybe not. Actually, I think that should be in the end. Yeah, I think we will do everything in one go, basically. So on end frame, basically, update draw data, maybe update draw buffers. We probably need a couple of things for that. Let's actually give it the frame context. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, that didn't work. So that would be that. Actually, let's do ImGUI render, update draw buffers with the frame context. And then that is basically the render. Actually, render. Wait, do I only have a begin and end frame or what? Oh yeah, okay. Well, let's do a render. So that it's a little bit more consistent, and then this is their graphics. So it basically has the same API as the end frame. Why would you not, or whatever, void ImGUI system on render frame? No. Okay. So that would be the render. And then yeah, we can have that empty. It doesn't matter anymore. This one. Ah, that's the cursor thing. I need to revive that. Okay. But basically it's that. So update the draw buffers and then we do the rest. Which is frame context that. Well, okay, context. And we need a command buffer here, okay. So API get command buffer context frame index. Actually, that should probably just be automatic. Why is that not automatic? Does the graphics system not have? It should be. It probably could be automatic. Yeah. Whatever, let's get rid of that. I have no idea why that even exists. And then on end frame, why? Ah, because... So I guess all of them could be const. Okay. So far so good. That would be... I mean, maybe I like the frame context name more. Okay. I think that could work. That might actually do the trick. I think last thing is frame context, frame context, frame context. Here is anyways called frame context. All right. Maybe. Maybe. Application. Frame context. And we as well do our ImGUI system on render frame. I mean, technically that could be one after the other. Doesn't really matter here. Frame context, frame context, frame context. In theory, I would want to multi-thread that so that it's like not like blocking, but it doesn't matter for now. I think with that we should be able to see something again. Probably. For the UI task, I basically need to kill. What I will do is basically kill that. Because I don't think I need that, and then we kill it here. Basically do that. And then this one is basically a no-op for now, and I will remove it completely. Oh, I need the shader though. Else that doesn't really work. Or actually it doesn't really work out of the box, yeah. Stupid me. There's a couple of things that I need to do. It almost works like that. Because I don't think we are actually... Yeah, I'm not binding anything here, so that's the problem. I need a shader effect. Well, a shader instance. So we as well need down here a new reference shader instance. Yeah, imgui shader. And I have absolutely no idea what the properties should be, so I have to kind of wing it. Pipeline properties. And then graphics. Okay. Graphics system dot create shader instance with that and our properties. And that would be imgui shader. And we probably can get those out of the render graph. Yeah, like this is the imgui one. I will set it up. I'll be right back. I need to have a quick bathroom break and then we will fix that. And I think with that we should have it hopefully back. Alright. It's fucking cold. God damn it. Alright, so imgui, let me put that on the other screen so that that didn't work out quite as I wanted. Okay. So I think the depth stencil is probably a standard one. Let me see, depth stencil. So that one is keep. Wait, dev standstill enabled. Force, yeah. Force, and compare always. Okay, so that's a standard one. Rasterization, non-solid force. Non-solid force as well, standard. So I think the only thing I need to set up is a blend. Yeah, because that doesn't seem to be standard. I mean, that is standard, but yeah, the blend is not standard. Okay. So we why do I not have a highlighter here anymore? Cool. Properties, blend states. Probably an in place. Enabled. Can I not do that? What? Blend state. Why is my... Okay, I need to restart Visual Studio. That annoys me. Not sure where my mouse cursor is gone. Or like my cursor for input is gone. Visual Studio magic. Oh, there it is again. So I guess that can be true. And then what is next? It's not the color mask, I think. Oh, come on. Okay, it just went wherever it wanted. Oh, it's source color. Well, I mean, maybe, okay, source color is source alpha. Destination color 1 minus source alpha 1 minus source alpha. Color op is add. Blend operation add. Can I not do that? Because I think I like that. More destination. And then I think that's standard, so I don't need that. Yeah, I mean, I could. To be explicit, maybe. And then dot source alpha. Is that not how it's called? Ah, it's source, never mind. Blend. Invalid. No, I would want it like that. Thank you. And that should hopefully do it. Asset ID. Do I really need to set the asset ID here? I mean, shouldn't that be handled internally? Do I really need to set the asset ID? Is that even used? Hold on. Is that used anywhere? Oh, it is. Hello, Captain Chica. I'm not sure if it is handled by... Why did I... Oh, I mean, sometimes I'm really asking myself why I'm overcomplicating things, but okay. Let's put that on the list of fucked up things. Assets, asset ID. And then, because I am stupid and I have no idea why I even did that, but probably because of legacy reasons, because the shader instance is new, it's like that, but whatever. I will put that on my list. That's like insane. That is like, I am not sure. Maybe I was on vodka with when I did that. Okay, so that class will be gone soon. I just need to fix the render graph. Maybe. Do we have Imgui again? Not quite. Oh wait, maybe because... Is it already loaded? Might not be fully loaded. Imgui shader, M object. Shader. Yeah, okay. How do we handle that? Maybe I do it here if imgui shader dot is valid is false, then we return. And I think that is probably already good enough. Maybe. If I did it right, then this is good enough. Okay, maybe not. I thought that was it. Do I still need a loaded? Really? Shader.h. Thought I had that implemented already. Okay, maybe not. Never mind. Sad. So I guess it's loaded. Yeah. Okay, no, then I think it is implemented. Hold on. Shader instance. Yeah, it has a valid. Should be fine. Famous last words, should be fine. Do we even get here is the other question. Maybe we crashed already before? Okay, we crashed already before. What? What shader? Actually, maybe here. Metadata imgui shader, okay. Then in create pipeline. Is that not enough? Oh, maybe not. I probably need to... Ah, stupid me. Funny how it's my code always crashing. Ah, this one, yeah. Yeah, of course that doesn't work because we are... I forgot to set up the render path as well as the frame buffer. So the render path I think is fine and simple. Properties, render path. Maybe I have that already somewhere? Probably not, right? I mean, kinda. Actually, yeah. It's basically that, right? Yeah. Kinda that. This. We don't have a depth attachment, so we can throw that away. And that's about it, I think. And then the only other thing is we need to create the frame buffer. Well, and we need to bind the frame buffer and everything. So basically here, command buffer bind shader effect. And I think before that, command buffer begin render path. M properties. Well, yeah, I probably should save that. Okay. Or do I have the shader instance? Does that have? Ooh, that has. Well, it doesn't have pipeline properties, so probably. Oh, it does. Never mind. Okay. Imgui shader. Get pipeline properties render path. That's like the most disgusting thing ever, but that's as well kind of a legacy thing. And usually I don't need to do that outside of the render graph, so maybe I clean that up for cases where I want to have custom stuff outside of the render graph. What is that? That's a ref? Oh, okay, it's that. Let's do that. Pipeline. No. And then const pipeline properties. And then we need a frame buffer handle, which, yeah, which is a little bit special. Let's go to render graph task. Where is it? And I think I just want the swap chain as an output, right? I think. Yeah. And then API get or create frame buffer. Okay. Perfect. And that is basically frame context API get swap chain extend would be the first thing. And this doesn't create a new frame buffer anyways. Every frame it reuses the one, so that's fine. But we could probably cache it there. And then I need to get the acquired swap chain image. Yeah. Color targets, add. That's I think that is a texture handler, right? So what did I just do? Or is it a texture? Oh, it's a texture. Wait, what? Well, I think it makes sense, but is that just yeah, okay, it's from the handle, just the texture. That. And then we do API or frame context API get frame buffer with those frame buffer settings. And that would be this. We bind the shader effect. We do our things. And then here at the end render pass. And that should hopefully be it. I hope that's correct now, but we will find out. Okay. Well, almost, maybe. Access violation. What? Oh, the frame buffer. No, that's fine, I think. Do we have a swap chain target? Yeah, we do. Hmm. Why would that be a problem? Oh, did I not? Oh, I didn't. Another stupid pitfall, of course. Get command buffer true. Well, we are not rendering. Frame buffer null is fine because we are not actually allocating frame buffers anymore. As if we are using dynamic rendering, the only thing I need in my frame buffer is the color target information. But I don't need to actually do a VK create frame buffer anymore. So the handle is always null currently. Unless you are not supporting dynamic rendering, which, to be honest, I've not tested. If it even still works in Onyx to run. It probably doesn't work to run without dynamic rendering, so probably I should. It's on the list of cleanups, let's put it that way. Because I think that's just stupid to keep alive. And yeah, it almost confused me as well, because I was like, hey, wait a second, frame buffer is null, but yeah, no, it's fine. Why do I not see anything is the other question. Because shouldn't I at least see some windows? A lot is on the Ubisoft list. So I would assume that I call that now, right? Yeah. And then I would assume that I call this draw. But okay, well, hold on, maybe the validations. Do I do that somewhere? Probably I do. In the graph task. Probably I do that. Oh yeah. So after beginning our render path, let's call the set viewport. Okay, that's just that's the blending that's wrong, I think. Which is kind of weird because I thought I did that. Or did I not? I think probably I didn't do that. Is enable to true, which probably by default is false, yeah. There we are. Just have a bunch of validation errors, but who cares about that, right? Alright, so we have that working. Kinda. Color attachment. Why is my color attachment wrong? Looks like it. So I claimed that it's a RGBA 32. That's probably garbage, not gonna lie. So it's probably the... What did it say? Well, it's swap chain format, so probably shouldn't do that. But I don't have the swap chain format at that point, but it's, I think, RGBAU norm. No, it's this, I think. He just doesn't like Ubisoft. Okay. Close. And then I think I want to go to render graph task and actually remove the graph. Where was that? Is it not? No, it's render graph.h. Why render graph CPP? This part goes into graphics API probably. And the end frame. That's the wrong graphics API. I'm probably graphics system, sorry. End frame. Here. I get the swap chain target, which is get swap chain acquired image. Okay, graphics system. That should be a non-const version, but maybe it's fine. But probably not. And then I would want to get a command buffer on our, well, with the frame index. And I need to transition that. But yeah, I need to write a non-const version for that. I'd hope that the swap chain even has one. Probably not, yeah. Why is that formatted like that? Jesus, what is the swap chain file? Why is it formatted like that? Disgusting. Alright, better. Okay. And this works, this works, this works. And we can do a non-const version here. Oh, graphic system get acquired swap chain image. We transition to start and end it here. Actually, I think I need to do that before doing this, so that it gets put in here. What the fuck is happening? Ah, god damn it. Sorry, I was in the zone, so what? Everything will be fine. Don't need to have PTSD from Ubisoft. Wait, I'm not even asking what I did there. What? Man, sometimes I'm really fascinated by what I smoked sometimes. That doesn't make any sense what I just saw. So let's quickly back off and not look at it again. And just pretend I didn't see that. Jesus, that was some code. I am not even sure what I did there. Command buffer is not recording? Yeah, but that's fine, isn't it? I mean, I don't think that we need to... I mean, I don't need to end it, but I think it should be fine to not need, like, that assert is a little bit aggressive, maybe. No, let's fix it, actually. I can't live with it, what I just saw. That was, like, insane. So this needs to go, because that doesn't make any sense with what I did down there. So let's remove that, because what the hell? We only have one acquired swap chain image all the time anyways. I mean, that's insane what I did there. Because if... Hold your breath. Because I forward that here to the actual swap chain, and then the swap chain says like, fuck that index, I give you the current one. Insane what I was doing there. To be fair, that code is probably 2 years old or something like that. Not that it makes it any better, but I don't know what I did there. That doesn't make any sort of sense. Maybe there was once upon a time a reason why I had an index there, but yeah, I don't even remember why. Well, I mean, I'm still insane, but maybe less. Or maybe not. Yeah, you need 2 swap chains for that. Basically, every window needs its own swap chain, because you get the swap chain from the surface, right? You create the swap chain with the surface, and each window has its own surface. Where is it? Window, 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 get surface here. You can, of course, render... No, I mean, to present then you still need 2 swap chains, right? There is no way around it, I think. Graphic C, what the fuck? What? Did I mistype somewhere? Or whatever. Beautiful. I mean, only those are the validation errors that I already know with the instant command buffers. Oh, okay. All right. I don't think this will work, but let's see. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Is it because we don't have a scene, or is it because we don't have the scene loaded? Okay, the scene is loaded, but the render graph is empty. Okay. Well, if our render graph is not existing, maybe we do that. Has maybe I need a default thing then, if we don't have a render graph. Although it would be kind of lying, right, if we don't have a render graph. But to be honest, shouldn't that have been valid? Okay. Get render graph. Oh, okay. But then, is it here now a valid thing? Unfortunate. Probably... Probably something in the crate that goes wrong. Am I not loading a scene anymore or what? Oh, maybe I'm not. I might not load a scene actually. And in that case, it kind of fails currently, right? Scene editor. I think at the start here. Yeah, we do that. And then let's do... Yeah, that sucks. Maybe I should have a standard scene then. A standard scene graph. But how would I do that nicely is the question. Because that create just... Yeah, of course only the create functor. And then that's that. For now, just to test, I will expose it. Well, I kinda have... let's not void. Set render graph. Actually, that's not what it should be. I need to get render graph reference. Or it will not stay like that. Basically, I need to get that by ref so that I can set it from outside. Because then I can not do that. But in here, what I can do is mscene get render graph ref get asset. Oops. No, that's fine, right? Oh. To be like that. Something along those lines. Should probably work. Famous last words, but I think, well, actually I'm a little... I need to do one thing, which is open the default render graph. And I need to remove one thing. Modules. No, not modules, sorry. Data render graphs, that one. Remove the imgui path. Save that. Have a crash, perfect. Ah, that's the same thing again. Where is that again? It's in the right for each, right? Yeah. Do I have a get has pin or something like that? Maybe I'm faster just removing it by hand. Maybe. I need to definitely fix that, holy moly. So let's go here. Default render graph. And then where is my beautiful imgui? Imgui O shader. Well, it's this one. That whole thing is gone. I think to here. Probably. And then where is the pin data? Oh, we don't even have that, I think, right? Is that valid? JSON valid data. Okay. I think that should be fine. Maybe. Fortunate. Oh no, that makes sense. I think. The final texture is something different now. Where do we set that? Okay, maybe not. Is that not it? Wait, we didn't call that yet. Oh, what? What? Why would you not? Oh, is it because we didn't load it yet? Yeah, okay. Has render graph. It's basically actually, let's do is valid and is initialized. That might not even be good enough, I think. But let's see. Because I think I need to delay the creation of the render graph to, or like the setting of the actual scene and render graph to the next frame. Okay. But I think we didn't call the init or what? Because I never got that. I guess we never called that. Okay, cool. Oh, that makes sense because I'm stupid. Scene. No, not that. Game core. It's just that. Oops. Maybe we get my scene view back now. Okay, we get at least the init core here. I mean, okay. We have a Christmas miracle or whatever. Is that the wrong resource or what is happening? I'm not quite sure. What is the node here? No, that is actually the tone map. That should be fine. But probably Imgui doesn't like that it's sRGB. So maybe I need to do output here into BGRA unorm. After the tone mapper. Maybe. Well, okay, maybe not. I have no idea what is happening right now, but we will get there. before, I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Um, um, I think, well, I should probably look at the this, no, this one. So Imgui took an RGBA below 32. Okay, so now that should be fine then. External true. No, then this should be fine. Why would that be a problem? Maybe we need to open up the good old render doc. Probably has to be. But I think that should be fine to have it like that. Clear color. It should be fine. Did we have any other clear color in the here? No. Well. Okay, let's open render doc then. Let's do one more try. We start and that works. Okay. All right, so maybe we crash. I don't know. Render doc is sometimes a little bit more picky. Is that not where my build is anymore? Or what? Is that not where my build is? Irrlicht build. Oh no, it's in code. Like that, I think. Yeah. Let's capture a frame. Let's end that whole shenanigan here. And let's see what I kind of fucked up. Texture viewer. Okay, I mean, that's not... That's almost a sky. Oh, it's actually the tone map that fucks it up, or what? Yeah, it's the tone mapper. Why does the tone mapper brick it? That makes the least amount of sense. Salmon, lettuce, tomato, salad, rice. That sounds very good. Okay, so then this bricks it, and then I think, yeah, the Imgui just renders it wrong. In like the wrong resolution. Wait. Why is my swap chain? Hold on. That looks fine. That doesn't look fine. Oh, Imgui. Why not Imgui? Oh, shit, what is going on? Maybe I'm... What is the thing writing to? Frame buffer. But why would you be so bricked? texture is in VK image layout undefined. Maybe that's the issue. That might actually be an issue. That actually might be a problem. Maybe at the end on the render graph, in the end of the frame, we get our final texture. And I need to transition that maybe. Get command buffer with the with the frame context, frame index, and a true. And then command buffer transition layout for the final texture to where the graphics context, that's fine. New access is access shader read, probably new layout is whatever. EK image layout probably read only optimal or something like that. Or something like that. Shader read only optimal. Maybe 5. That's like the most ugliest thing ever, but let's see. Damn it. Almost. Oh, but maybe... Oh, wait. No, that should be fine, right? Bye-bye. See you later, Rui. Maybe. Could as well be that our command buffer synced? No, right? Wait, one other thing. Wait. There's more to that than command, or not command buffer, end frame. No, that should be fine, right? Graphics API. Actually, hold on. graphics system. In the end frame, I dispatch this. Then I do that, and I do that, and I queue. That's in the graphics system end frame. Oh, wait. I think I know what it is. Yeah, of course. Actually, maybe not. No, that shouldn't. Or could it be actually the thing? Hold on. Because when my command buffer goes out of scope. No, when it goes out of scope, it doesn't do anything. Post pressing pause. You sure you're synchronizing it? Good question. I mean, that's all in one. Ah, so it should be one after the other, right? It's all on the graphics queue, so it should be. Good question. Good question. Next question. Maybe it's not. Because, it's maybe not, yeah. How did that work before? Yeah. How did that even work before? Questionable. Questionable. Let me think. Where would that be? Probably render graph task. Me not having proper transition layout stuff. But it's just that that's missing, right? The transition stuff, or? Because that does an image barrier, which should be all that's needed. Yeah. Because that does a barrier here. So maybe what I am missing is this one that I currently commented out because I had some weird validation errors, which, yeah, that's on me. But it probably should be something like that. Transition layout on the texture handle. Yeah. That's what I thought. Access shader. Well, actually attachment read, right? It would be this. Probably. And shader read bit is the new layout. So, well, whatever. Well, that's not the layout, sorry. It's probably this one. Or is the one for input stuff, for attachments? No, right? Probably that one. Or color attachment optimal, not sure. Something along those lines, probably. Or well, yeah, that because that transitions to a shader read. Well, to an input attachment read that goes to a shader read. Because we're a texture, this is an attachment. Should be fine, maybe. Might be wrong as well. Always fun with those barrier stuff. Or didn't really fix it. But let's see if RenderDoc. Well, that might be still the sync between ImGUI and. Let's see if the pass before ImGUI is correct. Okay, yeah, that one is correct. So it's now the ImGUI one that's wrong. Because yeah, there I have absolutely 0 barriers currently in place. But it's fun that ImGUI, yeah, that one has it correct. So how would I... Why did I have to pick the blonde that is always... Why? What? Not sure. So the thing is, how would I do that? Because that doesn't really have... ImGUI doesn't really have... doesn't really have a dependency on anything. I mean, I guess I could do a global barrier for now. It's probably ugly, or it is ugly, but it would work. I could as well. Yeah, actually not sure. Probably I need some sort of synchronization here that I'm not sure which... Like maybe a timeline semaphore or something like that. Yeah, that would work as well, yeah. I think for now I would do a global barrier. So what do I need here? Always wrong with that, like... It's probably read write. or write read, sorry. Or does a 0 work even? Not sure. Probably not. I think that's garbage, right? 0 is probably wrong. No, actually, not too wrong. Only slightly wrong. It's probably source 0, destination read, maybe. So, is that 5? I've got it again. VK image, or VK access, sorry. Ah, god damn it, where am I? Send herb. Maybe that's... No, maybe the pipe flag is wrong, right, for that. But I think I'm using that somewhere else, so... changing that... I mean, that is anyways a shitty function. But I think this one has to change. Or was that not it? I think it has to be bottom of pipe or something like that, doesn't it? As the destination. Oh, those barriers are getting, like, making me crazy, not gonna lie. Always fun. Test, what was it? Stage. Yep. Yeah, that's why this is actually not that good, but I mean, it's fine for now. I will fix that slowly over time. VK. Stage flag. Because I do think that needs to be... I actually have no idea, but let's do all commands. Bit probably wrong. It's always like global barriers. I have actually no idea, to be honest. Those are a little bit beyond me. I'm pretty sure I need that at the end. But is it maybe none at the start or top of the pipe? Something along those lines, I'm not quite sure. As you should not really use that much global barriers, I'm really not that keen on those, how they work exactly. Oh, that doesn't seem correct. No, that's worse than before. That's worse than before. Let's do top of pipe and then end of pipe, although maybe that's wrong. Again, a little bit guessing. Top of pipe, that one. Yeah, okay, now. So it has to be something with or. Maybe it has to be something like that, but my source access is wrong. Maybe my source access needs to be something else. Maybe my... Or is it here? So currently I use... Wait. That's anyways garbage, right? Wait, what did I put in there as a... Okay, yeah, that sounds garbage. Not sure why I did that, but okay. Maybe shader right? Or color attachment right, maybe. That might be... Oh, got it. Well, kinda. I think that's oh, okay, that's a different thing, yeah. But at least it's... Okay, no, it's not correct. No, never mind. What does the validation say? Oh. Where is my window? Why did it close? Oh wait, maybe... It needs to be probably here. I think that was... that looks a little better. It's still a bit scuffed. But we don't have any validation errors, but I think the barrier is still not correct. Because we have artifacts from time to time. So a couple, like one or two, like... I don't think the barrier... I think it's the barrier in the Imgui one that's wrong. But yeah. Okay-ish. I don't want to stick with the global barrier anyway, so I'll probably change that. But yeah. At least that's in theory how I would want the graph to work. I think maybe I have that. No, I don't have that bookmarked, but I think I remember at least the title. But I will read that at the end of the stream. But thank you very much. I will save that. Yeah. No, I will definitely read that again. Okay. But I mean, it's kind of working. We have some graphic glitches. We don't have any... Actually, I don't have a single validation error anymore, it seems like. Yeah. But yeah, something is still wrong. But again, probably I want to do this with a semaphore, I would assume. Or something like that. Not sure. Yeah, I will think about that. Maybe barriers is good enough. But I probably... The problem I have is I don't know... Maybe I need to go the approach that you suggested with a separate composite. Or will that help me? Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, it would help. Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to think about that because I don't really know the resource here that I need to wait for, because it's based on the render graph, but do I really want to access the render graph here is the other question. That's something I have to think about. All right. But that's not really what I came here for. So that is more or less working. Yeah, it's all fine. I will figure it out. And that page will probably answer me a couple of things. Because as I said, like transitioning buffers and images between passes, I do know how to do and how it works. But across command buffers is something that I didn't do that much yet. Yeah, imgui reads from my final buffer, or from my final pass. As a texture read. But I give it the texture as a like it's a bindless texture, so I don't really have... I only have a texture ID here. I don't have the actual texture. Exactly. In this case, I don't have a resource track on it exactly because the barriers are all handled inside the render graph internally. But as this is a pass outside of the render graph, it doesn't work anymore. That's why it was working before, because when the UI task was running inside the render graph, the barriers were down there. Yeah. I think it's probably a trivial thing, but I will need to... I mean, I will fix it tomorrow on stream probably. Yeah. But I will read a little bit more about that stuff and then decide which one would be the best way to handle that. But anyways, that's already quite clean, because what that... I mean, besides the fact that we have like artifacts, the benefit now is that the game rendering basically this part, that's really the game that you would see, and it's decoupled from the editor, which is way better than it was before, because before the imgui was inside the render graph, which was a little bit weird anyways, because you would need a separate render graph then for the game. So that's good. I think that's anyways a good improvement. And imgui is just for debug rendering, so we would never want it in a game anyways. So it's fine that this runs in a separate thing outside of the render graph. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's mostly it for the big refactor. Maybe let me quickly check what we have here now. So that's the render graph. Metadata, I'm not too sure. If I need that, but let's leave it for now. Yeah, that one is removing the ImGUI pass, that's perfect. That is removing from the application the dummy render graph. It's perfect as well. That one is semi-perfect. Don't quite like it, but it's fine. Or this file will be deleted or good. Yeah, that one is as well not. So the handling of how we load the render graph, not perfect yet. But the scene editor is pretty nice with that. And I think that makes way more sense. The render graph makes a little bit more sense now as well. With that change. That's the input attachment thing, that's as well good. And yeah, that makes as well sense. Yeah, I think all of that we probably will just submit as is, and we will keep iterating on it. And I think we are soon back on Linux finishing off the Linux part. Because I think that was the last bit. Well, actually not quite. We need one more thing, which I will do now. Well, I will try to do now. Let's see how far we get. And then it's just polishing the rest of it again. Okay, that I don't like. That is where it makes it a little bit easier probably to do the multi-render, like a multi-window renderer for ImGUI. Now that it's outside of the render graph. Because that would have been a pain as well. Okay, do I submit that as that? Even though it, well, one thing I need to test is, can I open my render graph in the editors there? Or does it crash because of the metadata, as I hadn't edited it? Okay, now that does work. Then let's save that. Okay, that worked. Can I close it now? That was actually the fix. Nice. Okay. Because before I couldn't save it, and I think that was because I actually created actual graphic resources in the background, because when I, instead of leaving it as is. That was basically this code. Where was it? Render graph serializer. Because here that init actually created everything already while loading, even though you might not need that render graph currently. That was a weird thing. Well, it was good back when the first version was done, but yeah. I think I will just submit it and then I have a couple of to-dos anyways all over the place. It's fine. Moved render graph to scene. I think that was mostly it, right? Well, let's not. I kinda want to discard those files changes and just delete the whole file, I think. Onyx. Where was that even? Shit, I should have remembered. Is it in editor? Maybe. Editor or application, one of the two. It's okay, it's here. Editor. And the task, GUI task. Oops. God damn it, I can't type. Source definitions editor. So yeah, the last bit that is missing for the dependency cycle is just restoring the editor property window, because that is currently broken. But then we are done, and then I mean basically I already broke the cycle, I just need to restore a couple of things. Because currently the property window for a couple of things will not work, like all the, well, most of the editor, like component editors will not work, I think. Oh, that's, I think, actually, that is probably a race condition. Let me retry, but I think... Is it really unlucky or did I break it? I do think actually... Okay, maybe I didn't. Maybe I... Wait, what? Shader path. Which one are you? Light cluster storage. Really? Weird. Light cluster. Ah, that's that thing again. Oh my god. Yes. I fixed that, I think, on my machine. On the Linux machine. But then I didn't do it on... So I think that should do it. That's actually a thing that I didn't fix properly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. So that kind of works still. So I think I can submit that, even though it's a little bit scuffed. Okay. And maybe I push that. I mean, it's only my branch anyways, hopefully. The Linux one. Yeah, fuck it. Alright, and last but not least, so basically when we start and we create a component, actually the transform seems to work, but for example I think terrain settings doesn't work. Oh, cool. Nice, I get... Let's actually increase that. I think that's anyways a little bit stupid to have that limited, but whatever. Okay, so basically when I do... What? Oh. Bear. Oh, we have another one. Stop. Abort. Mission abort. Alright, but now should be fine. Oh my god. I broke everything. Well, at least I get a graphics whatever validation. Is that a yeah, it's a validation error actually. Fascinating. Why is that only happening when I do... Does it happen if I add another component? Interesting. It's only on the... on this one. Maybe I do... Do I do something with that? Ah, it might be actually attached to something, yeah. That will be hard to find. I think it's attached to creating buffers or something like that for the terrain. Is that the only... That can't be the only component that doesn't... Like, is that really the only component that currently... That's so bizarre. in end frame. Oh wait, is it as well? And why do I have so many hard-coded stupid things here? Wait, is it even used? Yeah, it is. I think it's that. Or, hold on. No, that should be fine. I think it's just that. That was garbage. That's weird. Why? Okay, that comes as well on the list of stupid things I did in the past. Yeah. Why did I do that like that? Actually, let's at least do that a little bit more sane. Command buffer count. Says like at least a little more sane. Oh yeah, no, what? Command buffer count, please, thank you. And up here. So at least now it makes some sort of sense. Even though it's still not good. I think the graphics API needs a little bit more love now that I know a little bit better how I want to use it and everything. Well, whatever. Alright, so this doesn't work, right? And that should have settings, but it currently doesn't work. So that's what I try to restore. And for that, basically the component needs to go in here. Which would be this one. Maybe that one. Yeah, like those two have to move there. And then I need to register them. Well, actually, hold on. Now that I refactored all of that, maybe that's not needed for this one. Probably it is. Never mind. I think it makes it cleaner anyways. But maybe we do that tomorrow. Because I'm actually quite fried already. Was a lot to do at work as well. But yeah, that would mean that we basically remove all the editor code from all those modules. It's really just volume that has a little bit left. And that should go into this editor target. And I think I have a couple of things in game core that need to go as well in here. But there are already a couple of things here. And I think that one is already used. Because that one is auto-generated. Okay, maybe it's not used, never mind. Why is it actually not used? I thought I would have used that already. CMake on the project. Dependencies. I would have thought I used that. maybe that one? Oh yeah, that one is used. So if I add a free cam here, yeah, we are in the editor project. So that already works. It's just that I need to do the other ones as well. And then we would be done. Then it's only clean up a little bit of more stuff for Wayland maybe. Just so that we have a little bit more features in the Wayland default implementation for now. And I think that should be it for 05 then. So I think we're on track to have it finished at the end of January. If everything with the bugs goes according to plan, of course, and they don't take too much. But then, yeah, we would be done with that. And then I can focus on physics, which might not take too long. But let's see. Then I want to do some editor improvements. It says editor and debug improvements. It's more or less the same-ish that I want to plan, but mostly currently there is no undo in the editor, which is kind of painful. And I think it would be nice to have a redo undo system. So that if you set something like a transform or something like that, and then you can control Z to revert it. So if I move that and then control Z, it flips back. And we have like some sort of history. I have some idea how to do that, but not sure how big the impact of that is on all the editor features I already have built. But yeah. And yeah, that 06 is basically the thing. I think with 06, my plan is to get it into a stable, more or less stable version. The engine. So I would want to have got rid of all the validation errors at the end of 06, basically. So 05, 06 are the cleanup, basically make it into a somewhat polished engine-ish. There's still a lot missing, right? But yeah. Alright. That's it. I will have something to read. Thank you, Psycode, for that. Yeah, we will be back tomorrow, same time as today. Not too sure about the weekend yet. I have to see, because I think we have plans. So my fiance and me have plans on Saturday, Sunday. I have some family stuff, but I will for sure stream, but I don't know the times yet, so it might not be the usual weekend afternoon streams, but let's see. Yeah, some good progress. I think the engine is nicer off with the new modules and the split of the graphics stuff and things like that. Linux pushed a lot of things into the right direction, I would say. The Linux implementation. By being a little bit more pedantic than MSVC. Alright. Yeah, have a good night. Thank you for joining. See you tomorrow. Hope you have a good start into the day tomorrow. Bye bye.